After a few more minutes, the door to the room slowly opens. You turn to look, and you see your mom walking into the room. Upon seeing you, she rushes over and hugs you tightly. She seems to be upset with everything that you've been through, yet glad to finally see you after all this. Your mom has tears in her eyes as she hugs you. Mom, oh my gosh, hi sweetie. I'm glad to see you. Are you okay? Your mom hugs you tighter the moment you say that and looks at you with deep concern. Mom, oh, I'm sorry, honey. I'm so sorry that your dad is being such an idiot about this. You shouldn't have had to go through any of that. Your mom lets go of you from the hug and looks you directly in the eyes. Mom, you're never going back there, okay? You're gonna live with me, and you're going to be away from him and his stupid, judgmental attitude. Your mom nods, Mom. Of course, sweetie. I'll come with you. I don't want you going back over there alone, and I don't want you being alone over here for a second either. Not after what you had to deal with. Your mom nods again, holding a protective and concerned look on her face. She walks over to the door and holds it open for you, ready to follow you out. Your mom nods and gives you a small smile, trying to stay strong for you. Mom, all right, let's go. Your mom holds the door open for you and stays by your side as the two of you take your first step out of your old house. You and your mom begin walking across the yard towards your mom's car that's parked on the curb. Your mom can tell how broken and tired you look after everything that happened, and she stays by your side every step of the way, as determined to never leave your side as never before. The two of you reach your mom's car, and your mom holds the passenger seat door open for you. All right, honey, get in. I'm going to put the seatbelt on for you, okay? Your mom looks a slight bit concerned by your defeated responses, but she knows that you've been broken by what your dad has put you through. So she decides to ignore them and just keep looking after you. Mom, hold still for me so I can get the seatbelt on you, okay, sweetie? Your mom leans down and puts the seatbelt on you, making sure that you're buckled in before shutting the door. With you now safely buckled in and ready, your mom walks around the car, gets in the driver's seat, and buckles her own seatbelt. She sits silent for a moment, looking at you from the driver's seat with a concerned look on her face. Your mom looks at your expression and sees how defeated you still look. A slight sense of pain flares up inside of her, and she feels like she could cry for how much your dad has hurt you. Sweetie, look at me for a second. Your mom looks you in the eyes, trying to read your expression and trying to find the right words to say. Listen, I want you to look at me and listen very closely, okay? This isn't your fault. None of this is your fault. This is all on your dad being a close-minded jerk, not on you. Your mom looks at you with some sympathy and a bit of sadness. Seeing you look so defeated just makes her hate your dad even more. Mom, I'm just so sorry that you had to go through that, sweetie. You should never have had to deal with any of that from your dad. and I'll make sure that you never have to deal with him again. Not after what I know he did to you tonight. Your mom smiles slightly at that statement and nods. Yeah, we can go home and eat ice cream. Whatever you need right now. I'm going to get it for you, okay? Your mom nods with a smile, then starts the car and begins driving. She stays quiet for a minute before speaking again. Can I ask you something, honey? Your mom takes a deep breath, feeling a bit hesitant to ask her question, but then realizing that she needs to know the answer. Mom, sweetie, I feel like I already know the answer, but did your dad put you through anything else? Did he ever hit you? Your mom looks like she was bracing herself to expect the worst, but visibly relaxes a tiny bit when you tell her that your dad didn't hit you. She's glad you at least weren't physically abused, but she's still incredibly mad at what he did. She doesn't speak for a while as she continues driving. You and your mom sit in silence for a few minutes as the car drives down the street. Your mom then starts speaking again, with a mix of sadness, anger, and sympathy in her voice. Mom, I'm gonna make sure that he never gets to touch you again. I'm gonna get full custody of you. I'm gonna sue him for emotional damage. Everything. I'm not letting him get away with this any longer. I swear that to you, sweetie. Your mom nods, and a fierce determination appears in her eyes. Mom, you bet I can, and I will. I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to make sure he loses his custody rights. I promise you that. I love you too much to ever let anything like this happen to you again. Your mom keeps driving, but she quickly sneaks a glance over at you to see how you're doing. She frowns slightly and shakes her head when she sees how broken you look. Listen, honey, we'll be home soon, and then you can just sit and relax for a while. I'll even let you have your favorite kind of ice cream. And then we're gonna talk a bit. Is that all right with you? Your mom nods and gives you another small but sad smile. A few minutes later, the two of you finally pull up to your mom's house, and your mom parks her car in the driveway. She turns off the engine. All right, sweetie, we're here. Let's go in, okay? Your mom unbuckles her seatbelt and climbs out of the car. She then walks to your side and opens the door for you. When you exit the car, your mom wraps an arm around your shoulders and pulls you in for a side hug as she leads you towards the house. Your mom keeps her arm around your shoulders as the two of you walk up to the front door of the house. She slowly moves her hand over to unlock the door and then pushes the door open. The two of you walk into the house, and your mom shuts the door and locks it behind the two of you. Your mom looks a tiny bit amused by your response, but She's glad that you like the look of the house. She nods, Mom. Thanks, sweetie. This house is where you're going to be living now. As long as you want to stay here. Come on, let's go sit on the couch for a bit. Your mom puts her arm back around your shoulders and begins leading you over to the couch in the living room. When you reach the couch, your mom guides you to sit down, and she sits down next to you. The two of you then sit there for a few moments, sitting silently again, as your mom tries to think of what to say to you next. Your mom keeps sitting there with an arm around you for a few extra moments, trying to think of how to begin the conversation. She then finally lets out a deep sigh. Mom, sweetie, listen, there's something I need to ask you. Your mom takes another deep breath, feeling slightly nervous about the question. She looks down at you, a mix of concern and sadness in her eyes. This is important, okay? I really need to know the answer to this question. Your mom continues looking down at you, then she finally speaks. Mom, have you ever felt that you were different? Like, have you ever looked back at how you've acted or thought or anything at all and thought that you didn't seem like how your dad wanted you to be? Your mom sighs again, trying to find a way to word the question better. I guess, have you ever just felt like there was something different inside of you? Some part of you that wasn't there before? Something not normal? Your mom looks at you silently for a minute before closing her eyes and taking another deep breath. When she looks down at you, her expression becomes more serious. You gay? Some of the seriousness on your mom's face turns to sadness and sympathy again. She gently wraps her arms around you, holding you securely. Honey, please tell me the truth. I won't judge you or get mad or anything. I just need to know the answer. Your confession doesn't seem to surprise your mom too much. She hugs you tighter, and a sense of guilt washes over her mom. And I'm guessing that's what the fight with your dad was all about, right? He found out about the boy? Your mom frowns and hugs you tighter as she realizes that your dad would have acted even worse if he knew there was a boy in the picture. Oh, sweetheart, I'm sorry. And you had to keep this secret hidden from us as well? No wonder you looked so heartbroken. Your mom holds you in a tight embrace, her heartbreak for you only increasing. She speaks to you in a soft, sad voice. Oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry, but why didn't you ever tell me about the boy? I'm your mom. I'm here for you. I would have supported you. Your mom hugs you tighter and shakes her head sadly. She hates the idea that you felt that she would have reacted badly to you having a boyfriend, Mom. Oh, sweetie, honey, you shouldn't have been afraid. I'm not going to judge you, especially over something like this. You know that, right? Your mom smiles softly as she listens to you tell her about the boy you have a crush on. Gary, huh? That's a nice name. So, how long have you known him? Your mom looks a tiny bit confused by your response. Mom, you don't know for how long you've known the boy? How'd you two meet? Your mom nods in understanding. Mom, oh, so you've known him for a while, huh? Are you two close? Your mom feels a sense of relief that you had at least one person in your life you could trust. She smiles down at you slightly and runs her hand through your hair in a protective way. Mom, glad you have someone like that, sweetie. But I want to hear more about him. What is he like? Your mom giggles at your response and thinks that the boy sounds like a rather sweet person. So he makes candy, huh? He sounds like a sweet guy. Your mom smiles, imagining what the boy might look like. She asks you another question, Mom. What does he look like? What color hair does he have? Your mom looks a tiny bit surprised to hear that the boy has pink hair, but she tries to keep her surprise hidden so she doesn't offend you. Mom, pink hair, huh? That's an interesting color. What else about his looks? Your mom looks at you a tiny bit confused, but nods, Mom. Of course, sweetie, I'll tell you the truth. What do you want to know? Your mom looks at you for a minute, a mixture of sadness and sympathy in her eyes again. She gently rubs your shoulders and speaks, Mom. Well, sweetie, there's a lot to say about you. What do you want to know? I will answer anything you ask me. Your mom nods, and she continues rubbing your shoulders. All right, sweetie, but if I tell you everything, promise me that you'll promise me two things. Your mom gives you a smile and a nod, then speaks again. First, I need you to promise me that no matter what I tell you, you will still listen to me and remain calm. Can you do that for me? Your mom frowns when you mention your dad again and shakes her head. She looks down at you and speaks while still rubbing your shoulders. Sweetie, I'm not going to turn into him. I promise. I'm always going to be a good parent. Now, do you promise you'll still listen and remain calm no matter what I say? Your mom smiles slightly. Mom, good. Now, the second promise. After I tell you everything, you need to promise me that you will answer all of my questions. Deal? Your mom gives you another smile, feeling a sense of relief that you've agreed to the terms. She continues rubbing your shoulders and speaks. Mom, okay, sweetheart, I'll tell you everything then. But remember, I need you to remain calm and listen to me. Your mom nods and takes a deep breath before speaking again. Mom, all right, then I'll start from the beginning. This might take a while, so just listen, okay? Your mom gives you one last nod, then starts her explanation. Mom, ever since the moment I first held you in my arms for the first time after you were born, sweetie, I thought you were the most beautiful baby I'd ever seen. Your mom nods, a faint smile tugging at her lips as she continues reminiscing. Mom, oh, sweetie, you were the prettiest, most perfect baby in the world. You were so cute, with your tiny little head of messy black hair. I swear that I took a million pictures of you every day. Your mom smiles more and chuckles slightly, a hint of amusement in her voice. Mom,